And hello. Um, it's a rarity for me to be doing a live broadcast, but hi everyone. And welcome to Session Zero. This is character creation for an upcoming Savage Worlds game using the Thrilling Tales campaign setting. And I have my three players with me. And if you've been watching Pair of Geeks 2, you will know these three individuals very well. But for those of you who don't, let's go left to right just as I see them on my screen here, and they can introduce themselves, starting with Jason.
Oh, starting with me. Fantastic. Well, my name is Jason, and I'm a big fan of Pulp Fiction, and I've been wanting to play Savage Worlds for quite some time now. So, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this. Completely new to the system as well, so bear with me. But yes, there we go. I hope to play someone very over the top and silly, but also boisterous and adventurous.
And why not? And next in line from where I can see is Becky.
Oh, hello. Hi. I'm not used to being on television, so I'm a little nervous. This isn't, well, obviously. So.
Wow.
Especially live broadcast. Becky's just not used to live broadcast.
No, it's not a thing. Not a thing.
I think it's more maybe you're not quite used to playing.
And
it's been a while, but no, I'm good. I'm still a former world champion.
And last but not least, Phil.
Hi, I'm Phil. I've played Savage Worlds before, so I've played quite a few Savage Worlds campaigns, so I'm quite okay with the system. But I'm looking forward to what Ronnie's got for us, because I've not actually played the Thrilling Tales setting, so that's going to be good.
And I've never ran the Thrilling Tales setting, so although I do know I have ran a fair bit with Savage Worlds. Right, guys. So character creation. The first question, and it really comes up in the Thrilling Tales campaign setting, is given that this is set in the sort of golden era of sort of pulp action, which is the 30s. It gives two possibilities as to player characters and how you set up. Technically three, although it doesn't really go with the third one, which is the one that usually happens. So the two it comes up with is a team of superheroes coming together, or, action heroes coming together as equals. Or one hero and their team of highly skilled assistants. The third option they give is one hero and their trusty sidekicks, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if anyone's going to be up for that.
I want to play a sidekick.
You're up for playing.
Genuinely, I looked through this last week, and I want to play a sidekick.
You up for being someone's sidekick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the thing is, I'm just so fucking amazing, both in real life and obviously when I play a character. I just thought, you know what? Let somebody else have the limelight. I'll be a sidekick.
Yeah, to be fair, it's not something that you tend to do. You do go for quite big and bold characters.
Could be that sort of Doc Savage Man of Bronze thing, is it?
Hmm?
Did you see that Doc Savage Man of Bronze?
Yeah.
He had like a team behind him, didn't he?
Yeah, he would have his sidekicks and his sort of team of experts that he could call upon.
This is basically because I really fancy Gabrielle, but I never fancied Zeno.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, yep, this is going to be good. Right, so Becky's going with the sidekick. What about yourselves, Jason and Phil? First of all, Becky, do you have a preference as to who you want to be the sidekick of?
No. Obviously, I'm a real life sidekick to Jason, but I do not mind Phil having a fantasy about me.
Wow.
Oh yes,
Oh,
we're gonna actually talk about that.
This
Well,
this is gonna be a fun campaign.
Is there actual rules for sidekicks? Is there an actual thing? Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
58.
totally
okay.
sidekick. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, essentially, the main heroes is assumed to start at seasoned, even veteran level, and then your sidekicks would just be lower ranked.
Oh, okay.
For me, I mean, it depends what everyone else wants to do, but I'm torn between the big game hunter and the mad scientist.
All I will say is that this is going to be a globe-trotting adventure. Mad scientist might be useful. Big game hunter might be useful. Fortune hunter may be useful. Investigative reporter.
Well, if Jason wants to go like big game hunter and mad scientist, we could both be sidekicks.
Ooh,
Oh, so you're thinking me being
you're going for the third option.
Wait a minute. I said I'd like let somebody else have the limelight, but I'm not prepared to share not having the limelight.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, right. All right then. Well, when I was thinking about it, I did quite like the Air Ace sort of idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was quite cool.
I thought about basing it around. Do you ever remember Tales of the Golden Monkey?
Yes, I do.
Of idea?
Yes, I do. Slightly. That's been slightly marred by the fact that Stephen Collins was supposedly found with inappropriate material on his computer, which has rather dampened my liking for that particular individual. And
I didn't hear that.
but no, I remember the show very well because it timed itself beautifully as it came out right off the back of Raiders. And had Roddy McDowell in it.
Yeah, I think it did.
Yeah, the minute I think I'm teetering towards Mad Scientist just because I've been playing through the remake of Crash Bandicoot. And for those of you who know Crash Bandicoot, there's quite a few characters that are all sort of crazy mad scientists and quite funny characters.
So, what we're really looking at from you, Becky, is given the two there, we're either looking at the Air Aces co-pilot or Navi, or we're looking at the mad scientist Igor.
Well,
not literal, but you know.
I'm thinking Green Hornet.
What's Green Hornet?
Oh, it's where the sidekick was way better than the main character.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Oh no! I mean,
Yeah,
it wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the first time I've seen that
That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
dynamic
No,
in action.
I will be. You know what? You made me not get a dice out, and I kind of want to decide something randomly. And my dice are underneath various things, so just
Like a coin.
well, they're all downstairs. Right. I'm going to get out here a D18. If it's an odd number, I am Phil's sidekick. If it's an even number, I am Jason's sidekick. And it fell off the table. It's an even number. Who was that? Jason.
Me.
Okay, so you are the lab assistant.
Yeah, I am. So are you going to be a sidekick who can fly, Phil, or are you going to be this concept thingy, whatever it was?
I'm going to be the
Air
Air
Ace.
Ace.
Air Ace. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're both kind of heroes, and I'm shit.
Well,
Yeah.
you're not, because bear in mind, my brain is so massive that I'm far too busy sort of pulsating in my cranium to worry about punching anybody.
Yeah, you've
What
got
we
to
going to do this week, brains?
You've got to do all the body snatching.
We're going to do what we do
We're
every
going to
week.
take over the world.
We're going to take over the world. We're
Yeah,
and the brain.
Like, basically, I'm the type of character who's sort of leaning over an extremely rare specimen while you're punching baddies around me, and I don't even notice. So,
Okay, guys.
gonna have your merit.
Now that we have our sort of basic concepts down, this makes character creation far swifter. You have 5 stats, 5 attributes. Okay. And those attributes are, and I'm doing
Agility,
this in
smart,
order.
spirit, strength,
Strength
vigor.
and vigor. Now, for the moment, they are starting at a D4. All your stats and skills will be die types rather than static numbers. Okay? They start at D4. You now have 5 points to spend. Each point will raise a stat up 1 die code. Nothing above D12.
Question.
Uh-huh.
So each point goes you up 1 normal person's die size.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
I just had to clarify.
Yes.
I did just roll a D18, so just okay. 5 points.
For people who have never played Savage Worlds, this is one of the few role-playing games, there are others, one of the few role-playing games that whilst it does use polyhedral dice, it does not use the D20. Well, there's a couple of tables the GM has that you can use. A D20
Spirit
one.
in this, is this like your courage and stuff, or is this
I will give you the full blurb because I'm a really nice GM and I'm going to give you the
Just
blurb.
wanted to know if it was like telepath points or if it was like your pluck.
Right. Agility is your hero's nimbleness, quickness, and dexterity. Pretty simple stuff. Smarts is a measure of how well your character knows his world and culture, how well he thinks on his feet, and mental agility. Spirit reflects inner wisdom and willpower. Spirit is very important as it helps your character recover from being shaken. I'll go into that in a mo. Strength is, raw physical power and also adds to a person's damage for hand-to-hand combat. And vigor represents endurance, resistance to disease, poisons, toxins, and how much pain and physical damage a hero can shake off. Otherwise known as Savage Worlds' version of Constitution.
Okay, so 3 physical and 2 mental, so I'm
Yeah.
fucked. And bear in mind, one of those mental you kind of want even as a physical character. Joy!
You will get a chance to have some extra points later on.
Good.
Yeah, there's fun to be had.
Yeah, but there's always that quandary about which one to stick points in.
Yeah.
For the moment.
It was 5, wasn't it?
5.
5 points, yeah.
Yeah.
It's to stop people top loading. Ooh, trusted psychic.
Yes. Gabrielle, best blowjob in the West. Sorry.
Were you okay about having your campaign 18, Ronnie?
It's just pretty much going to happen, isn't it?
Revenge!
What do you mean revenge? You were one of the main people who were...
I don't think we started that.
No, I blame it all on Ronnie.
That's all right.
Excellent.
Yeah, I've gone quite top heavy.
You put a lot in on smarts.
A lot in on smarts and quite a lot in on vigor as well, because I kind of envisaged him to be pretty, full of vigor, either because he takes some weird green toxin every morning, or he's just survived a lot of explosions in his lab or something.
Yeah.
Well, what do we do with edges for this then? Do we just get the
We'll
one edge
get
for
to that.
humans? Okay.
We get to that in a mo. Bear with me, folks.
Calm down, Phil. You're running ahead of the idiots.
You're
I have
running.
done attributes, by the way, ages ago. Maybe I should have mentioned that.
Oh, babe.
No, I was saying I've done them so that Ronnie knows to proceed when ready. It's
Everyone done
important
this? Has everyone done their
Yes.
attributes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, skills.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Skills, which if you go to the Savage Worlds Deluxe Explorers Edition, the skill list starts on page 23 of the PDF.
I'm afraid I don't have the book in the same room with me, Mr. Bradley.
They're all listed on the character sheet, right? Or are they different?
Skills. They could be, yeah, they're probably the same.
Ooh, yeah, that's actually quite a good list.
Question though on the skills.
Uh-huh.
No. I will not have a question for now. Carry on.
Right. Skills. Do you want to grab the book, Jason?
Yeah, if sure. Okay.
Just for the sake of you having something to refer to. It's going to become more important in a second.
I've started a Pinky and the Brain thing. Oh God. Jason doing it in one ear, Ronnie doing it in the other.
I'll just clarify to my viewers that what she is actually talking about singing Pinky and the Brain.
Well, I don't know what else you'd interpret that as.
When it comes to you, Becky, I leave no room for any doubts whatsoever. I just clarify. As soon as Jason can, yep, there we go.
Right, which page to say it was?
23-ish?
23.
23-ish. Okay, yes.
Right. So, here's the thing. Skills. You now have 15 points to place into skills. Knowledge can be taken multiple times. Different knowledge things can be taken each time. Here's the way the skills work. At the moment, assume everything is at D4 at the moment. Okay?
Right.
All
At
right, we're
the
going to
moment.
start at D4, are we? Excellent.
Right? At the moment. Not all skills, just assume them to be D4 at the moment, right? It's the same thing. It's 1 point per point to go up a die code until you hit the level of the controlling attribute.
Oh, smeg.
And then it's 2 point a point thereafter.
The controlling attributes.
Each skill.
Oh,
this is why the book is rather useful.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is an omission on the character sheet,
And,
really.
You said 15 points, yes?
15 points.
15 points.
Right.
Right.
Nothing above D12. Spend away.
With the knowledge skill, is there like a list of certain types of knowledge we can choose from, or can we just make stuff up?
Let's just make stuff up.
Okay.
Or assume, biology, chemistry,
Yeah. Okay.
thermodynamics.
All right. Well, it'll definitely be.
I'm going to assume that piloting is going to be a major feature in Phil's immediate.
Yeah.
You will see that the skills are very generic, which is by
Right.
design.
in Savage Worlds, it says, where did the gut skill go? We removed it. And yet on the character sheet, there's still gut. So are we playing with the gut skill or not? And what is it?
The gut skill, the reason the gut skill was removed was guts is meant to be your, oh my God, this is really terrible. Am I brave enough to overcome it?
Mm.
However, most people just use a spirit check, which is what I always use.
Okay. Funny enough, then I've got no points in that.
Mm-hmm.
So I am quite happy for people to use the gut skill if they so wish. Failing that, be a spirit check. Is what pretty much everyone uses anyway. And because people use spirit check for that sort of thing so much, that's why they ended up getting rid of guts. There's your history lesson. I suppose it's somewhat thematic, but I'm quite prepared to just make a spirit check.
Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, 15 points spent.
15. Now, you will see that there are some suggested on each of the characters in the Thrilling Tales. There are some suggested ideas. They are not absolutes.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to have to change that, aren't I? Have to put something in there.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone for 3 very specific types of knowledge. Or is it recommended I go for something more general, like the suggested knowledge science, and then knowledge?
If you want to split them, you know, I'm okay with it just being knowledge science, because you are a mad scientist. It's all the same to you. Physics, chemistry, biology, thermonuclear dynamics. It's all the same thing.
Right.
Maybe that's why you went mad. It's just all competing.
I've gone a bit too specific because I went for like biochemistry, neurology, botanist. So okay, I will make it a bit more general.
You can certainly do that. I mean, depending on how specific the knowledge is, there might be some modifier to the role, but other than that,
yeah. Okay.
Failing is difficult, but not impossible in this game.
Mm.
He says. Tell my players, because one of them nearly died yesterday. And so did his character.
15.
Okay. 15 spent.
Yay!
Mostly I'm getting something to D12 that I didn't have the base stat for.
Ouch.
Very
yes.
grounded character.
Okay. Next up is hindrances.
Mm-hmm.
Now, has everyone spent their points, by the way?
Not quite, but I can work through them. I'm nearly done.
Okay. I'll wait for you because this bit's
Okay.
rather crucial.
Yeah, I've just noticed that in the sort of in blah, blah, blah. In this losing the will to speak here. In the book, it's talking about weird science as like a skill, but it's not there. So would you?
Weird
Yeah, like-
science. You can take weird science. It's referred to as an arcane background,
Okay, yeah. I was going to say
which
if it fits
is
within arcane.
which is an edge, but we'll get to the edges.
Okay, cool. Yeah, right.
I'm going to assume that's going to be a free edge, but I'll discuss that when we get to edges. No, yeah, weird science is technically an arcane background, although it's not technically arcane. Right. Anyway, are we all at point spent?
No,
Yes.
again, carry on without me. I can.
No, I because I need everyone's attention for this one because hindrances are so much fun.
I think I've chosen, but I don't know how many you get and stuff. So carry on.
Okay, so.
Smile, darn you, smile. You know that this GM's a great GM after all. And so humble and modest.
Hmm. Now the question is a mad scientist kind of persuasive or more just fucking creepy and intimidating?
Well, that comes down to how you're going to play the character.
Hmm. Yes. Over enthusiastic about really niche things.
It's lovely.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a perfect specimen. Pity it had to be hacked off to get it, but you know, it's such a perfect specimen.
I'm assuming notice is like perception, so you
Yeah.
notice and things. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, investigations is actually ferreting stuff out.
Investigation. I'm assuming smarts as well. Oh, notice is smarts as well. Even better. I'm glad I put all my points in smarts.
You got a D12 in smarts.
No, I got a D10 in smarts, but even so, it's enough for what I've got. Okay. So.
Everyone's bunged all their points into one. Okay.
Hmm?
I've gone for a much more even spread, personally.
Well, not entirely a problem.
We get to level up so quickly in this thing.
Yeah, the wild die also helps.
Definitely.
Okay, yeah, that's me done. So, for all the others, are they a D4, or are they just literally you can't use them?
Right. Those skills that you have not taken, you do not have.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You do not have. They now default to a D4 minus 2.
-2. You are mean.
That's standard Savage Worlds. You don't get the skills. D4 minus 2. Although you do have, you still have a wild die, and you know they can still ace, but we'll get to those terms in a minute. Right. Hindrances. Here's the deal, folks. Firstly, you are under no obligation to take any hindrances whatsoever. Secondly, you do not have to take the full whack of hindrances if you do not wish to. However, if you wish to take hindrances, you are allowed up to 1 major hindrance and up to 2 minor hindrances. There are hindrances starting at page 29 in the main rulebook, and there's also some new ones on page 61 of the Thrilling Tales book,
I'll take the full whack if I can.
or page 62 if you're going by the page counter at the top. So it's up to 1 major, up to up to 2 minors. You are under no obligation to take any. You are under no obligation to take all.
And is it just to help role playing, or is there some kind of?
You get points which
You
can
get
be
points.
used to augment skills and
Okay.
traits and get edges and
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah, so quite similar to Ubiquity then. Okay.
Yeah.
Chosen.
Got him?
Yep.
Okay, what you got, Vo?
Heroic as a major,
Yay.
and loyal as a minor.
Okay. Just taking the 2?
Yeah, I can't see another one that kind of fits what I want to do.
Code of Honor?
So-
Although I don't know if that's a major or a minor.
A major, I think.
That's a
could,
shame.
could be both.
Oh yeah, that's
Major.
definitely him.
It's a major. Oh, well. That's
I took it as major. I've
Go
got
for
enemy
it.
as minor, and I've got stubborn as minor.
Okay.
I'm just doing me minors.
Okay. Interesting ones that might be considered: Death Wish,
Mm-hmm.
Delusional. I'm
Mhm.
thinking of Becky because she's still got a minor.
All right.
I
Enemy.
was actually just reading Delusional.
Enemy can be taken as a minor. Greedy, habit, hard of hearing. That would be funny.
Literate's a minor.
I did consider illiterate as well.
Pacifist,
Just
phobia.
Hard of hearing.
if I took delusional, what would I do? What would I be delusional?
As a minor one, it would be fairly, you know.
Maybe I'm deluded into thinking Ronnie's a better GM than me. Sorry, I'm teasing. Meow.
You're dead for a session now, you know that. don't you?
Yeah. Press blood. No, okay.
Oh.
Delusional into thinking Phil is a better No. Delusional into thinking you'll still be my friends if I keep this up.
Now that could work.
Maybe I'm just mean.
It's there, although mean in that well, yeah, mean's there.
Okay, I've got my 3.
You got your 3.
Yes, so I've got overconfident for my major,
Wow.
and then outsider and quirk for my minors.
Okay. Yeah, you can decide for yourself what your little quirk is.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take a vow.
Yeah, that'll be cute.
Would kind of tie in with loyal and all that.
Oh, I'm thinking a totally different vow, because otherwise it's not really a hindrance if you just stack it on top of another one. I have to decide what the vow is yet. But
Or you could be wanted.
Grave robbing's finally catching up with you.
how about to spread the good word of Scientology?
That's your vow.
Was it around in the 30s?
I doubt it. There was though. There was a weird thing that was around then. That I'm trying to think. Very Victorian thing to believe and was popular. And oh my god, what was it? They had seances and shit.
Puritanism.
Oh, yeah. They had all of that. Yeah,
ones-
lots of ghosty stuff and...
The spirituality thing, but it wasn't.
Spiritualist, yeah.
Spiritualist, is that it?
Spiritual church.
And maybe I don't know enough about that to actually convey it though.
You could be a doubting Thomas
Well,
then.
yeah, I was just about to say you could be the complete opposite.
I could be an atheist, I've taken it's like 1930s.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. Oh my! Wait a minute. Hang on.
Hanging on.
It's the 1930s. You could be deluded in thinking the banks will actually get better one day.
Or the Illuminati stuff.
Maybe I have vowed to fight against women having the vote. No, that would be too major.
It could be vengeful.
Is that a minor?
It could be either. Maybe you feel vengeful towards a certain type of people. Bit like a ranger.
I have taken a vow never to touch a man in a friendly context. I can punch them.
Okay.
Okay.
Not show affection.
No affection.
Mm.
No tactile form of affection towards the male gender.
Basically,
Yeah.
you're abstinent.
Yes.
You're pure. Well, no, not quite
Very
puritanical. That would be a
psychic
major.
of you.
Right, guys.
Hey, Ronnie, could you just clear something up for me now? Because I was never too sure about this bit. Now, you can, in the first section, when you want to raise a skill above your attribute, linked attribute point, it costs 2 points, doesn't it?
Yes.
So does that apply with your hindrances points? Because it doesn't say that in the book. It says for 2 points you can gain another attribute. For 1 point you can gain another skill point. But it doesn't say anything about going above your linked attribute.
No, it would be 1 skill point. So if you would need something that would require 2 skill points, you would need 2 skill points.
Right.
It would just give you another point.
Right. Okay. You have to put both of those into one then to get up to above your linked attribute. Fair enough.
Shall we? It's a nice thought, but no. Right, guys. So, as Phil was intimating there, you all took the full whack, didn't you?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right, because you took 1 major, 2 minors, you now have 4 points. For 2 points, you can do one of the following. You can take an edge, which is Savage Worlds equivalent of feats.
Okay.
And I will say, because you're a human, you get a free edge. You're going to have at least 1 edge to begin with.
Okay.
Okay? Or you can raise an attribute up. For 1 point, you can get another skill point, or essentially give yourself double your money. You start with $500 in funds, so you would get another 500.
Okay. You know how it talks about like power edges, professional
Yeah.
edges, things like that. Are there any? Is there sort of a limit to what we can take in those categories?
Right.
Requirements?
The limit when it comes to that is you've got a free edge.
Mhm.
Obviously, at the moment, you're going to have no more than 2 more edges, tops. If you spend all your 4 points on 2 edges. Other than that, certain edges like feats have prerequisites.
Yeah.
If you're looking for weird science, you'll find it in the arcane. It's an arcane background.
I was gonna say.
And then you pick one of the arcane backgrounds, which in your case would be weird science.
Okay. Do you know roughly what page that is?
I will get it there. I will do. Right. The arcane background. The The actual edge is described on page 35.
Okay.
And then you're looking at page 90 for the powers.
Oh yeah, cool.
And that gives the various arcane backgrounds that you can take.
Oh yeah.
Weird science is among them.
What's the novice and special?
Right. Novice means that you have to be of novice level, which basically means beginner.
Okay.
And if you can take it at any time. Some of them will have things like seasoned or veteran or legendary, which you guys aren't yet. Special just means it doesn't require any particular talent or skill. It's just it's a special situation, i.e. you're getting powers. You're getting stuff.
Question. I have
Yes.
one more point to spend from my hindrances. If I was to put that into a skill I don't currently have,
It would be at D4. Well, because you're adding it, I will allow you to take it up to D6, providing it's a skill that's, providing you don't have that, providing the skill hasn't got a controlling attribute of D4.
okay, no, I don't think so. Just double check, but
Because then it would be 2 points to raise it to D6. I will be extremely generous at this point.
well, otherwise I just have to go back and rebuild a load of stuff.
No, I'll take it as part of character creation, so it's still.
This comes as
it'll go up
spooky
to-
numbers, but yeah.
It'll go up to D6.
I got it. I just got the one edge. Nick of time.
Okay.
Just so I can steal some scenes from Jason.
Wait. Yes, there are edges. There are edges both in the main rulebook and in the Thrilling Tales book as well.
What we're doing now.
Well, that was a thrilling tale edge.
Mm.
So, like, are we all Nekos? Because we've all got thrilling tales.
Hey?
Well, Nekos have tails, don't they?
Oh wow.
Oh God.
I mean, I've got the ears on.
This could be a catastrophe.
I'm a Nekomancer.
So I'm going to assume the weird science, the arcane background weird science, is going to be the one you're going to take as your free.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking Scholar for the other one.
Scholar.
Yeah.
Ooh, professional edge.
Yes.
Do you qualify?
Yeah, it just says requirements novice and then D8 plus an affected skill, which I most definitely have.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Skills. Focus 2, no skills are used.
Right. I will say before you do anything, before you start piling in. Right. Before you start going with the other 2 points. And this is where I am going to go to the main book, to the powers section. Da-da-da-da-da. Let me go to powers. Let me give you powers. For I am powerful. I am full of shit. It's not on page 90.
No, it's 100 and summit.
Aha. 110, 100. Yeah, I knew where it was. Right, so arcane background, weird science. Okay, listen up. So, it would give you a new skill called weird science, which is a smarts based skill. Right. you would start with 10 power points. Basically, you would use those points to build stuff. Weird Science is a skill an adventurer uses when activating most devices, and raises increase the effective power as usual. If a device uses a different skill, such as driving, fighting, or shooting, the inventor uses that instead. A ray gun, for example, uses a shooting roll, while a vibro knife will use fighting. Powers that require an opposed rule, such as puppet, also use the scientist's Weird Science skill. Now, because you have the Weird Science skill would start at D4. It's a brand new skill starting at D4. You can put points into it.
So does that go on the arcane?
Yeah.
There. Okay.
You would put it in as one of your skills, as arcane Weird Science. It would start at D4, but you can spend. This is because you've got 2 points left. You can spend those points if you want to raise that up to, well, essentially D8.
Yeah, I will actually. Why not?
I just thought I would jump in on that one. And you do have 10 power points, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Because other stuff needs to happen.
Cool.
Right. Okay, just to explain a little bit how the system works. Okay? Now that you've got skills and stats there. When asked to make any sort of test, be it an attribute test or a skill test, you will roll the appropriate die, but you will also roll a d6. This is called the wild die. Now, it is not added on. It is essentially because you are PCs and you are brilliant, wonderful people, you have 2 chances to succeed. You have your skill die and you have your wild die. They're not added together. It's like 2 chances to get it right. And you just take whichever is the highest. Okay? If any of the die rolls the top end of the top number on the die, a 6 on a d6, 8 on a d8, etc., it's called an ace. The die explode. You roll that die again and add it on.
Cool.
Bless you. And if you were to roll the same, if you were to roll high again, you would roll again and add it on.
And that's for all the dice. It's not just
Yes.
for wild dice. Okay.
No, that's for all of them. The d4 minus 2 situation, you would use your d4. You would still have your wild die, which is a d6. And only after you've stopped rolling do you subtract the 2. So if you happen to get a couple of aces in there, you could have a pretty good score. With the exception of melee combat, the target number is 4. And that includes for shooting as well. If you roll 4 above the target number after modifiers, it's called a raise, which means better things happen. Raises are good.
Okay.
And I don't get to use the critical failure rule in this, which is annoying. And Becky looks utterly bored.
Sorry, I was listening.
She's had a beer.
I was listening.
You look completely zoned out there.
No.
Right, guys. Now comes the fun bit. Have you finished getting all your bits and bobs for your points?
Yep.
Now, this is where we're going to have to decide on the level. Because usually it claims we can either have 2 heroes at veteran, well, 2 heroes at seasoned, and one sidekick at novice, or we can have 2 heroes at veteran and 1 sidekick at seasoned. The difference being, if we're doing 2 heroes at seasoned and 1 at novice, it means Becky's pretty much done with her character. You guys are going to get some advances, or everyone gets some advances, but you 2 heroes will get a few more.
Okay.
Okay. Because this game does allow you to have an extra advance as well. You get a free advance, which is nice. It's really pushing the fact that it's you guys are like the heroes. Yeah. Each character will be given a number of advances which let a character do the following. So, if you are... Holy shit. That's just an insane amount of advances for Legendary. So it's up to you guys. Do you want to do 2 seasoned and a novice, which is essentially a low-level character and a slightly better set of characters, sort of 3rd or 4th level equivalent, if we're using D&D as a equivalent. Or we can take the sidekick up to 3rd and 4th, and the 2 heroes up to about 7th, 8th, realistically.
I'm a bit more inclined to go with the latter, but
Yeah, it's not fair to leave Becky behind like that, is it?
Well, whatever you do, you leave me behind, so it's actually okay.
Yeah, I know, but when we get beaten by Becky at first level, it's going to be really embarrassing.
It's the unfortunate part of, you know, unless you want the sidekick to be, unless you want to go with that idea of a sidekick actually being damn good at what they do as well and is actually equal to the mad scientist in certain regards. So it's less a sidekick, more an assistant.
I don't mind what your guys' fantasy is.
I am okay with any of those options. I
Just numbers and a bit of paper.
It's up to y'all.
I'll tell you what, look. I'm going to go out for a cigarette.
Okay.
So you guys make a decision or something, and when I come back, you can let me know
Okay.
if I have to do anything.
Okay.
Okay.
Which might mean explaining it twice, but hey ho, I'm just like that. I also need the loo, so it's got to happen now.
Okay.
Back in a mo.
Okay. Right, guys. It's as I say, I am okay with any of those situations. Whether you want Becky to actually be more of an assistant rather than the sidekick, so she's a bit more Cato, which was the Green Hornet reference.
yeah, I quite like that idea, and like as I was saying, like our skill sets are very, very different.
Which is one of the requirements within Thrilling Tales, that you do have some degree of specialization with as little overlap as possible.
Okay.
So the next thing is, are we going for 3 seasoned adventurers, or are we going for 3 veterans?
Is veteran a bit too high?
I'm not too bothered actually, because I can just up the ante.
I
What?
quite like the idea of there being some growth in there.
Where would you start? Is it at the bottom of seasoned or at the bottom of veteran?
It'd be bottom. It'd be
The bottom.
bottom of season.
Okay, so we've got We've got 4. If we could go for
Actually, it
season,
gives you 6 advances for here. It gives you a couple of extra ones.
that's what I was going to say. We've got 6 advances to do to get us to season, or we've probably got
Yeah.
like 10 or 12 to do to get us to veteran.
Gets 10 for... It's 6 to go up to season, 10 for veteran, 16 for legendary. Which is just
what is heroic?
obscene. Actually, that's a thing. What the hell's a heroic?
Yeah, so I mean that's a lot of leveling up you're gonna have to do now if you're gonna do. You can go up 10 levels.
Yeah, it sounds a bit silly.
So are we going for 3 at seasoned?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how many raises is that? We've got
We'll have 6 advances, which
6
is nice.
advances.
Yeah. Now, if you go to page 60 of the Thrilling Tales book,
60.
it does actually say it should be veteran, but fuck it, I can work it.
Making a hero.
You will see that it gives you the list of the advances that you can do. The advances you can do one of the following. You can gain a new edge, providing you qualify. Increase a skill that is equal to or greater than its linked attribute by 1 die type. Nothing above D12. Sorry, no D14s here. Increase 2 skills that are lower than their linked attribute by 1 die type each. Buy a new skill at D4. Or increase 1 attribute by a die type. This can only be done once amongst those 6 ranks.
So we can do that once.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And you said 6 advances.
6 advances. You can do.
Okay.
You could. I mean, quite frankly, you can choose 6 edges if you want. I mean, you can go to town.
Okay.
This is a lot of scope at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot. Right. Becky, they have decided that everyone's going to be seasoned,
Okay.
including yourself. If you go to page 60 of the Thrilling Tales PDF.
Okay, so I'm going to do attribute first. Knocks 1 off.
Okay.
Right, you will see. On the there's a list of advances. I will go through them just as I went through there. You have 6 advances that you can now do to your character. Okay,
Not on page 6. Oh,
60.
Right.
60. Right.
That
You have 6 advances.
of Thrilling Tales. Are you
Yes.
sure?
Page
Yeah.
60.
Page 60 is the second part of my character sheet. Of the class, Trusted Sidekick is the second page of it.
Have you
No,
got
not
second
page
edition?
60.
61.
61 Making a Hero.
Yes.
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 So
Okay.
it's 61 in the PDF, but it's actually
Oh.
61.
61 in PDF. Okay.
Right.
The
Right,
actual page
so-
number is 60.
So the list, you have 6 advances.
Mm.
Okay. For each, you can do one of the following for each of those advances, or you can do it multiple times, except for one of them, but I'll get to that. You can gain a new edge, providing you qualify for it. Increase a skill that is equal to or greater than its linked attribute by 1 die type. Increase 2 skills that are lower than their linked attributes by 1 die type each. Buy a new skill at D4. And increase 1 attribute by a die type, but you can only do that once out of those 6 advances.
Hang on, I missed the 4th one. Whichever. Oh yeah, new skill.
Yeah, you can buy.
They're all listed on there anyway.
New.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so they are.
Yeah. Buy a new skill at D4 and increase 1 attribute by a die type once per rank, which means you can only do the increase once out of the 6. Spendy.
Yeah.
Can I take a skill above D12?
No.
No. Okay.
Nice try, but no.
No, just asking.
I was about to say, trust me, when you've got a D12 and a skill, the chances of you failing are fairly minimal. But ask my players in my game yesterday, who spent so many bloody bennies doing rerolls. It was so much fun.
Oh, that gets so irritating.
Well, they've got the group Benny thing. I've allowed them to use the group Benny thing so they can use bennies from anyone. They all ended up with calling away bennies. It was really funny.
Losing pages. Does Arcane count as smarts or spirit?
Smarts.
Smart. Awesome.
Well, for your benefit, smarts, because it's weird science.
Yeah, cool.
It's a smart skill.
What is the linked attribute to guts? With it not being in the book anymore.
That's a bloody good question. Let's be nice. Let's find things. I will look that up, actually. Because I've had to use it so rarely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a spirit-based skill, which is why people just
Okay.
ended up dumping it and just using spirit.
Yeah, I'm dropping my shit.
Which I'm quite happy for people to do.
Okay. One. I've not done those two. I did that. I've done that. So that's 3. I'll do that.
Cool, right, I've done my advances.
Yay.
I'll still need to do my powers.
Right. Essentially, with regards to the powers, if you look through the powers, essentially, you'll be spending the power points, but what you are doing is you are making gadgets that will create that effect.
Yes.
So you can decide for yourself what those gadgets look like.
Yeah, I was going to say, is things like trappings and effects
Right,
relevant?
trappings is really to make your the upshot of trappings is they are mostly there for aesthetics, so that your version of Bolt might not look quite the same as someone else's version of Bolt.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes they can have an extra effect. I mean, if your version of Bolt is lightning, then it might hit somebody with armor a bit more. You know, they're wearing metal. But other than that, it's just aesthetics.
Okay.
Starting powers 1, sod that.
Is there a separate section for making gadgets? No, there isn't, is there?
No. Powers
That's-
we have that. Each device comes with its own power points equal to the inventor's power points. Oh, starting power is 1, so you're only getting 1. That's annoying.
Okay.
So you start with one gadget to start with.
Right.
Don't worry about that. That can be right. What I will do then is, are you willing to drop any of the advances that you've taken to take the Edge new power? Because new power would allow you to build more gadgets. Or every time you take new power, you would get another gadget.
Well, I've taken 2 new edges, which is Gadgeteer and Mr. Fix-It, which are quite similar in themselves anyway.
Okay.
I suppose I could take Mr. Fix-It off.
I mean,
Because
it's up to you if you're wanting more than one gadget.
there's only at the moment I quite fancy the idea of 2 gadgets, but it depends like how much free reign we have on what the design of the gadget is, or is it literally just from a set list?
Oh no! Other than the powers being there, I'm pretty okay with how you design it. The only thing that I would place in is it would obviously have to have a sort of 30s aesthetic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was gonna go sort of almost like steampunk style mechanical arm or something like that.
Yeah. If there's
Since you're that scientist. What are you talking about taking, Jason? Sorry, I didn't quite.
Well, this new power Edge is supposed to give me, was it another power on top?
Right. Yeah, you'd be every time you take new power, you'd be building another gadget. You'd have another gadget to hand.
You could. I mean, there is also the MacGyver Edge, which means
there's that.
You can improvise temporary gadgets all the time. But I think you need to have taken repair to do that. I'm not sure.
But even if I can take another gadget, does that then give me 2 power points in total, or is it more than that?
No, you would have your 10 points. Every time you use your gadget, it comes off, you do. So if you, to use the Bolt one, again, because it's the one that most players end up taking, because it's Savage Worlds version of Magic Missile.
Overrated.
Eh?
Overrated.
I know, but it's the one most RPGers tend to recognize on contact. Every time you used it, you would chalk off 3 points or 2 points. Or 3
Okay,
points.
so long story short, I either keep all my advances and only have 1 power point.
One gadget. You've got 10 power
One
points.
gadget.
You just have 1 gadget, which would mean you have one power.
Oh right, I see. So the power points to what you
Power
spend.
points
as
is
you
the power.
cast it.
Yeah.
Oh right, I thought it was part of spending. Okay, that's
No.
and then if I take 1 off, then I get 2 gadgets. Okay.
Yeah. Well, if you take 1 off, you can take the new power
yes.
edge, which would give you which means you've built another gadget with another power on it.
Okay. I'm actually quite tempted to that because I've just spotted Wall Walker. And that would be amazing. So
Okay.
magnetic boots or something like that.
Yeah.
Are you building
Yeah,
an evil genius then?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
okay.
my scientist. I did notice the bodyguard and the sentinel as well, which I'm tempted by, but I'm wondered if that might make Becky's character a bit jealous.
What's that?
If I take bodyguard or sentinel, like
Right.
some big mechanical.
What you've built a big robot.
Yeah, basically.
I am a death machine, just so you know.
Or the other idea I had was the sort of like night vision goggles or something like that. Oh, dark sight. There we go. Yeah, dark sight would be quite cool.
Yeah, you would actually be the first person who's actually used weird science in a game of mine. So I'm
I
up
really
for
like
this.
it. It's really cool. I've never played a sort of full gadgeteer before, so
Yeah, I mean, most people when they take the arcane background just go for the basic, spellcaster.
yeah, the fireball, magic missile. I mean,
Yeah,
I
which
don't
is
mind it.
fine. It's fine in and of itself. The only other time the arcane background really came into effect is when I ran a supers game, because fucking everybody has it.
Well, yeah,
as a
exactly.
free.
And, I think with superhero games, it makes sense to sort of go for those kinds of flashy powers. But
Yeah.
in general, I don't often take the sorcerer or wizard classes for that reason, because it's like, it's a bit generic. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll
I've
go
spent my 6.
So,
Spent your 6.
Yes,
Right.
I have a lot of edges.
Okay. What have you taken, Becky? Just for my.
Okay, so I have Nick of Time,
Okay.
Ambidextrous,
Yeah.
Brawny,
Right.
the one you really need to know, First Strike.
Yes. First strike is good. It's extremely good. It does only apply to melee combat, and because they really have to
obviously.
be right there. But other than that, yeah, you get a free swing, and then you get your normal swing. What else have you taken?
Well, those are my edges.
Those are your edges.
My hindrances are Heroic, Loyal, and Vow.
Yeah.
I have insane fighting, including from horseback. my shooting and stealth is okay. My climbing and driving and lockpicking also. I have persuasion. I have nothing else.
That's fine. That's fine.
I may have accidentally min-maxed my first character in this system.
Well, I mean, the fact that you don't get to do an awful lot. I mean, what we're doing essentially is doing the sort of first next level of character, because you get a couple of extra advances because you're meant to be like super.
You said 6 advances, yeah?
6 advances in total.
Yeah, that's what I took. So, yeah.
Usually you get one advance every 5 XP, and usually it's 20 XP from novice up to seasoned.
Mm-hmm.
So you would only get 4 advances by the time you get to seasoned, but it's giving you a couple of extras just to be really, really nice.
So yeah, I'm all done. Well, up until the next thing.
Yeah, I'm just going to wait for everyone else, because the next thing will be buying equipment.
cool.
Well, I've taken trademark vehicle as an edge. So basically, I get a plane,
Yeah, I'll allow that.
but it's which one? To be useful, obviously, it needs to have some passenger space to carry the rest of the guys around in.
What we got?
BC3?
There is a DC3 there.
Where is the?
Page 79, I'm looking at DC3, so it's 80 on the actual PDF.
Passenger plane of choice in the 30s.
It is
Typically
pretty
very
good.
luxuriously appointed inside, because it was an era when only the rich would fly.
Yeah, the DC would be fine.
The only thing I was going to say there, it does say crew 3 plus 20, so it's 20 passengers. But obviously, I haven't got 3 crew.
Pilot, co-pilot, and the person serving the drinks.
Yeah. The only thing that the planes they seem to have here, the only single person operated plane are fighter planes. And they can have a Messerschmitt 109 if you want.
The other thing that I would say is a possibility would be on page 80. The Goose
That's a crew of 2
+8.
plus 8, yeah.
which is cheaper as well. Not that it actually matters in this particular case. I suppose the Trimotor by extension, the Tingus.
Or the Ford Trimotor.
Yeah, the
That's
Ford
correct.
Trimotor.
That's the same as the
Either of those, I don't have a
about-
particular problem with the DC3,
What
Okay.
other
about
than the fact that it is actually a lot bigger than the Stan
Well, you
Goose.
just wouldn't need the space. We'd just have extra space, really.
what
Yeah,
about a Messerschmitt Bf 110? Because although you can fit 3 people in it, and it's not comfortable because one's supposed to be a rear gunner and 2 crew.
2 crew.
2 crew.
Yeah, the second one is optional. But here's the thing: you can fly a DC3 with 1 person in it.
You can.
You-
Yes.
Yeah, you just need a pilot. All planes just essentially need a pilot. What the other crew will be things like navigator or radar operator or gunner or
Yeah,
co-pilot in the case of a civilian plane.
So what do you reckon? Go DC3, or do you want to go the Gunman Goose, which you can land on land or water?
That's
the,
it.
yeah. The only thing that I would say, and I'm quite happy with either option. By the way, I've not got a problem with it. The only thing I would say as an air ace, chances are you would favor the smaller plane because it would be more maneuverable.
That's the Goose then.
Yeah.
It gives us more options for landing as well, actually.
You know, the air ace is well, actually, if you went technical with it, would be the guy with the fighter pilot with the fighter
Actually,
plane.
In the stats, it's a better plane than a DC3.
Is it?
Yeah.
What for
Toughness is the same,
maneuverability?
toughness is the same, climb's the same. TS, I'm not sure what that is. It's better.
What we got? What we got? What we got?
Gunman Goose it is.
Mhm.
I'm feeling free. So you're going with the Goose then?
Going with the Goose.
That's fine.
Plenty of room in it for us 3.
For your globe-trotting adventure.
That's all my points spent.
I hear somebody walking away in the distance. What sounded like anyway. Okay, cool. So,
Are we all spent on advances?
yes.
Okay. I'm going to give you some money.
Never enough.
I know it's
Knowledge
never
is
enough.
money.
We'll get round that. Equipment. This chapter details weapons and vehicles of the pulp era that do not already appear in the Savage Worlds core rulebook.
Flamethrowers.
Right, guys. Equipment, obviously, page 67 of Thrilling Tales, so probably 68.
Yep.
And on the main rulebook,
It's 54.
54.
Oh, gear.
And I'm going to be very, very nice to you.
Ooh.
More than the usual 500?
I'm going to give you 1,000.
Okay. What rules are you using for encumbrance?
I'm using the law of common sense.
Okay, thank God for that. Because if you gave us 1,000 points to spend, we'd never carry it.
I use the rule of common sense. I use the rule of if you start strapping on 15 weapons around your person and attempt to walk, I'm going to make sure I'm going to have you fall flat on your face. But this is the law of common sense, otherwise known as don't take the piss. I don't mind you, hiding things about your person, but if it starts getting to Guybrush Threepwood levels, it's just going to be silly.
Well, I think the encumbrance rules in Savage Worlds breaks it, actually. You can't carry an awful lot of stuff.
There's the hand weapons. Okay. Chainsaw.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of encumbrance in systems generally. I tend to go with common sense.
Okay, so... And some period-specific ones in the actual Thrilling Tales.
Yes. You're not really going to be having much in the way of body armor, which is always nice. But, there's nothing stopping you. Except maybe me. And if you are buying any weapons, I will allow you 2 boxes of ammo for free.
For things like grenades, how does that work with ammo, or is it just like multiple grenades, like a certain quantity?
If you're buying grenades, you're buying grenades.
Okay.
Grenades.
You're not getting 1 grenade with 5 explosions attached to them.
Oh no, I know that, but in terms of how you keep score of it on the sheet, is all I was asking.
No. If the cost will be by grenade there anyway.
Cool.
To be honest, most guns are 6 shooters, which helps.
Oh, that's the cost. Cool. Okay.
Automatics weren't really a thing.
Oh, there's quite a few actually in the Thrilling Tales. Brownie,
Yeah, they were just starting to come. They weren't as prevalent as they are now.
This is the MP38.
I'm taking a Mauser M32.
Oh, they're only $100 for the MP38.
It's $100 for the M32, and it's cooler.
Okay. Pistols, shotguns.
Oh, yeah, but the 38.
The weapon is nearly impossible to fire without the stock in place. Without the stock, the firer suffers a -4 penalty to hit.
Yeah, but then it's a pistol. Not a very accurate one, but it sprays so much ammo, who cares? It's a great weapon.
7 pineapple.
Walther PPK.
I didn't realise that was so old, actually, that one.
Mauser. Oh, Mauser. Oh, Jesus.
Yep, that's what I've got.
Colt 38 Detective Special Snubnose. There's a classic.
Oh, that's a bit annoying. For the grenades, it's saying cost is dependent on the setting, so it doesn't actually give it in the book.
I'm going to see if they're here.
Basically, I don't want to give it away too much, but my character is not going to be somebody who's going to actually go out and buy grenades from the military. No, he's going to fucking make them himself. They're homemade.
Homemade grenades.
Oh yes, they are homemade.
I want some homemade grenades. Damn it!
Do that, and I'm going to buy.
And a scimitar.
Oh, awesome.
Because I bet you in this system a scimitar is considered a one-handed weapon. On account of the fact they seem to have included it under long swords.
Oh, here we go.
How much is that? $55. 55 shots.
Although chainsaw is tempting.
8. Wait, 4 shots, 8. Okay, so
Were chainsaws a thing back in the 1930s?
Yeah, lumberjacks existed.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, of course, that's true.
I think so, anyway. They're more primitive looking than modern ones, but they still would things, I think.
boxes of bullets. It's in the book somewhere, isn't it? Ammunition. Where's ammunition? Oh, there we go.
Apparently, chainsaws were invented in 1830, which is earlier than I thought.
Really?
Mm.
Wow.
Ooh, could get a Ford Model A.
Cost, weight. Okay.
With things like the hand weapons where it says strength plus,
Yeah.
blah, 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 does it mean D4, for example, or just 4 plus the whatever?
D4.
D4, cool.
How many bullets in a box of bullets?
I'm going to say 100. Would have
Oh,
been
wow.
standard.
Okay.
I'm being extremely generous, mostly because I've got a feeling that you guys are going to John Woo your way through this whole fucking thing.
Huh.
Although to effectively John Woo your way through this, you really need both ambidextrous and two-fisted.
Two.
Is
Take
it?
it. I'm gonna level up next time.
Bless you.
Right, I bought my basic equipment. I got $50.
As Phil
50.
said, it's no matter what happens, it's never enough.
It never is.
$50 of cheese.
So, how much roughly do you think these homemade grenades should be, Ronnie?
Give me a second.
Or we could just do them as a regular grenade since you've given us like loads of money.
Being homemade, are they gonna be extra powerful?
Well, I don't want to meta it too much. I've given it sort of the stats of the US MK67 Pineapple. I suppose it
God,
depends
really?
how far we go with it, really.
Shit, I don't think you spent any money yet.
It could be a bit more temperamental. Cone effect. Like a big acidic green thing. I kind of wish actually I had some kind of fluorescent green dice just to play this campaign with, 'cause it'd be hilarious. I nearly didn't go for some actually, but I declined.
Why did you decline?
Because it's like I have so many dice, it's a bit silly.
This is weird. Camouflage fatigues cost a refund of -20. I'll have 800 sets of camouflage fatigue.
You can have one.
No, I don't want them. It's fine. I wish
No,
I could have afforded
I can only assume that that's due to the fact that they would be a military issue and you would get refunded.
Ah,
There wouldn't be sort of Army Navy stores we have now.
well, they've all gone now, really.
Um,
Don't really see them anymore. You know, those kind of stores where you used to buy sort of ex-service stuff and things from World War II and stuff. You don't see them
Yeah.
anymore.
No.
Well, I don't seem to be able to afford a horse, but I have bought a Ford Model A. I also have drive skill.
Huh. That's quite
Still,
funny.
horses are common in the era, right?
I'm going to set a price of $15 a grenade.
Okay.
That's for the MK67 Pineapple.
Yeah.
If
I'm
I
basing
buy-
that. I'm basing that on the fact that I've got Savage Worlds pulp gear, and it gives me a Molotov cocktail at $10, which does 2d6 damage. So, I'm gonna call it 15.
If I buy like a leather flying jacket,
It will not make you look anywhere near like a sadomasochist in a.
well, I'm more worried about it. Can I claim that as leather armor?
I'll allow it as 1 point,
Okay.
but it would be 1 point that's only covering your arm and torso,
Yes.
which means if someone takes a headshot, you've got nothing.
Or legs.
Yeah,
Okay. That's fine.
because it would be the kind of thick, flyer's jacket. I'll allow 1 point of armor on that. I'm not.
I'll put them in the actual sections for arms and torso.
Kevlar vest.
It would actually be a Mark II grenade, I think, in that year.
I'm going with what's there.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I can't.
You're probably right that that's probably World War II itself rather than
M67 is 1968, apparently.
68. Yeah.
But Jason has just invented this new extra powerful grenade.
Yeah. It still is a medium burst template, but that's I can live with that.
Yeah, as I said, I've kept it to those stats. I haven't changed them specifically.
Which, by the way, flipping 3d6 is still fairly vicious.
Yes, it is.
Especially if you get a couple of bloody aces on it.
Alright.
Because damage can ace as well.
Okay, good to know. And
So
what
if
was
you
that?
if you roll 3d6 and you roll 3 sixes, that's 18 plus all those dice again.
Jesus. And what was the other type of thing? Was it a rating?
Hmm?
You mentioned another type of like
the
terminology.
raise.
Raise, yeah.
The raise, if you get if you roll a skill or an attribute test and you get 4 above the target number, it's a raise.
Okay, cool.
In combat, it's an extra d6 of damage, and that d6 can ace. Otherwise, for normal skill and attribute tests, it means you either do something better or you do something faster, possibly both.
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to buy a saddle, even though I can't afford a horse. I'm going to keep it in the boot of my Ford Model A. I'm not sure a Model A has a boot, but...
You know, we're going out into like the deep jungles or whatever it is, and you want to take a Ford Mondeo in with you.
But not a Mondeo, a Model A. No, look,
Model A.
Maybe I pick the car up on site or something. I mean, I don't know.
Hurts.
Buy it. I can ride a horse. I can cover this. I just can't afford one because I have a car.
Ronnie, with armor that has 2 numbers, so say +2/+4.
Which is the armor?
Like black jacket, Kevlar vests, Kevlar vest with inserts.
Oh, no. Let me get you the
It's
armor.
in the regular book. Page 61.
Yeah. Page 61. Armor. Right. Right. The Kevlar vest negates 4 AP. Thank God for that. But covers torso only. See the notes. Where's the bloody notes?
Right. Okay.
A Kevlar vest with inserts is +8 versus bullets. Otherwise, it's just +4.
What about the flak jacket
Flak jacket.
just above?
Right. I'm going to hunt that down. +2, +4. Oh, this is where I'm going to have to go hunting.
Well, it should really say what it means. 'Cause
I know.
those are the only types of armor where it's got two things by it. So, a criticism of the book.
No. Offers 2 points of protection against most attacks. 4 points against bullets.
Makes sense with the whole bullet thing. Okay.
It did say in the notes, in the description. We got there eventually.
Well, it says in the other ones, but not in the actual notes for the flak jacket. It just says covers torso.
Yeah. I'm taking it to be the same. So it's +2 normally and +4 versus bullets.
Okay, cool.
And as we do have someone watching, hi Fiona.
Okay, so
Why should you have all the fun? Hi, Fiona.
so 106.
Are we seriously just like, is this car a waste of money? Should I just not buy it?
Well, I mean, you can. It's not a waste of money. I mean, you can drive it to the airfield. We can take the plane. You can then get on a horse. When you come back, you've got a plane. You've got the car waiting at the airport.
Look at my horse. My horse is amazing.
But if I buy a Ford Model A, I want a car chase. Although I
You
could,
got this is a pulp action game. You're guaranteed at least one car chase in it.
I could take an Austin 7 Special, but then one of you's not going to be in the car.
Yeah, I don't know if you can have a car chase in that.
Well, an Austin 7.
It's not that. I mean,
It's quicker than a Model A.
Is it?
Substantially.
Wow, you know that. Notice. What's that? Oops.
It's like the Cockneys versus Zombies, where they managed to make one of the greatest chases ever.
Right, the Model A was the upgraded version of the Model T, right? I think they sort of got rid of the lever for the steering wheel and actually put a steering wheel in. Whereas the Austin 7 Special is a car that was just so lightweight it didn't even have a door. It was built for speed.
Built for comfort, not built for speed.
Oh, that's so amusing. If you actually buy night vision goggles, they can cost up to $2,500. But I made my own.
Yeah, just to say that a lot of that stuff is assumed, because it's a generic system, a lot of that stuff is assumed to be modern day or futuristic.
Yeah, I realised that from how it's worded.
They've had to pool a lot.
Yeah, okay, I can't do that. So, let me think. What would I have?
What? Right. Okay.
What do you have?
I'm gonna have like the most mundane items ever. So like friggin' blankets and stuff. Because I'm a scientist, I need to look after all my notes and files.
Yes.
toolkit's tempting, actually.
What toolkit?
Yes, but I need my own for gadgets.
Well, if you borrow anything of mine, make sure you put it back.
I don't need to use your tools.
I don't need no stinking tools from you.
No, yours are for aircraft.
Keep you in the sky.
Um,
Let me see, what page was that on?
I spent all my money.
All done.
because you've been buying friggin' horses and cars and shit.
I couldn't afford a horse. I'm very disappointed.
Are you
At some
talking the
point,
regular horse or the war horse?
at some point, I expect my character to be killing things on horseback or something of that nature, or some raptor or something.
Well,
Whatever it is,
I
we're up
can't.
against.
I can't necessarily guarantee a laser raptor.
Yeah.
But
Oh, those Viking Age raptors, man, they're the hardest.
they're just yeah. Kung Fury, for anyone watching this channel who has not watched it, please check it out. That film's hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny.
Who is still shopping?
Me. Bear with. I know vaguely what I want. It's just a case of like, I'm prices up and stuff. Toolkit, homemade.
Homemade toolkit.
Yeah, totally homemade toolkit.
Who made Toolkit?
So, who needs that? I just sort of dab bleach and I'm fine.
Whilst you're shopping, I'm gonna sneak in another fag. I'm not an addict.
I didn't think for a second that you were.
Damage. 2d6 plus 1.
Rope is quite expensive in this.
Yes. Most things are actually quite expensive in this, actually.
Okay, let's see if I've gone into overdraft. So,
We're almost finished, actually. Just got one little bit to do once you've got your shopping done.
Wow. Okay. Right. Actually, I don't know about that.
And if you're buying weapons, please note all the damage and ranges and.
Yep. Got that down.
yeah.
I'm going to keep a lot of my kit on the plane.
And especially little notes like if it does AP and. AP isn't going to be a particularly big issue in this setting, but it's, it's there nonetheless.
Yes.
No, I haven't. Fantastic.
Yes.
In that case, I'll also get.
That could be toughness. On vehicles, they've got ACC and TS. Do you think ACC is acceleration? TS could be toughness for the
Top
vehicle?
speed.
Top
Top
speed.
speed.
What about range then? There hasn't got. There's no range on the airplane.
But these. Oh no, you got the Grumman, didn't you? I've no idea.
I'm gonna have to look that up somewhere else then.
Kitty Flatty Mitty City.
It ain't going to be that far.
That was the only real advantage with the DC-3.
Yeah, it's about 3,500 miles or something, wasn't it?
But this one's faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it can't get across the Atlantic.
We can just land and paddle the rest of the way.
Okay, so how much money do I have left after that?
I will look that up in the interim, but
I'm trying.
Okay, so I've got that. I've got a
640 miles.
640 miles. Thank you.
It could also carry depth charges.
Oh, how much are they? I've got some cash left over.
you can still go for the
Or a couple of
DC-3
months.
if you want.
What do you reckon? DC-3 more useful, or it's longer range?
The range may become a factor.
It was 1,500 miles.
What, for the Goose?
No, for the DC-3.
Yeah, slightly better for your purposes.
Yeah. Made transatlantic continental flights possible, requiring only one refueling stop.
Yeah, I know they got the, was it the Azores or something they stopped at?
What do you think? We better go for the DC-3 for range?
Probably.
I have done my shopping.
Has everyone done their shopping?
I have money to spare.
Ooh, Phil, have you completed your shopping?
I have completed my shopping, and I do have money for depth charges, if that's a possibility.
Right, so the last bit, and it is a little bit, is your derived statistics.
Ah, yes.
This is very simple. Your charisma starts at 0 unless you have taken an edge or a hindrance that messes with it.
No.
Possibly. Oh, yes, okay.
Has something changed it?
Yep, because I'm an outsider.
Yeah. Your pace is considered 6 unless you have a hindrance or an edge that changes it.
Oh, that's I haven't thought of my quirk yet. Okay, I'll think about it. But okay.
We all on to the next?
Oh wait.
Parry is 2 plus half your fighting. And if you don't have fighting as a skill, then it's just 2.
Oh, lots.
2 plus half your fighting.
2 plus half your fighting.
Fighting.
So if your fighting's D8, that would be 2 plus 4.
Oh, they didn't go to the Azores. They didn't have the range for that.
Was it Greenland or something?
Iceland, Greenland, Canada. There was also another route, which doesn't look possible for that plane, so that must have been something later.
And finally, your toughness is 2 plus half your vigor plus armor.
Plus my brawny skill, edge even.
Yes,
Okay.
some people will have edges that will add to it.
Oh, I didn't think of armor. I thought it was not really the era for it.
Well, you're really not going to get much more than the jacket, to be honest.
Nonetheless, jacket might not be a bad idea.
And I'm assuming as well with the flat jacket it would be the smaller, so +2 rather than +4 because it's not
Yeah.
bullets technically. Yeah. Oh, this is actually quite a lot. I have a lot of reinforced lab coats on.
I haven't got enough money for a flak jacket.
I'll allow you a flying leather jacket for the price. Was giving 1 point of armor. You can have a sort of, thick leather Mac or something.
Oh, I could afford that if I don't buy the saddle. I can afford it legitimately.
Have you thought about taking the saddle apart and fashioning it into a jacket?
I mean, you could like glue it onto the back.
Still gives me a toughness of 7, even though I've only got a leather jacket.
Wow, my toughness is higher than yours.
When you're writing down the toughness, could you put in brackets next to it the amount of that toughness which is due to armor?
Yeah, I'll put it in.
It's rather important for the AP.
Okay. Can afford that.
Right. Just to explain how armor piercing works in this system. Basically, armor piercing, if you have a weapon that has an armor piercing of 4, right? It will ignore the first 4 points of armor that you have. It cannot ignore armor that ain't there. So if you're only wearing 2 points of armor, it will only ignore 2 points of armor. It doesn't get any extra bonus for having an extra 2 points of AP. So quite frankly, sometimes it's just worth it going nude. To be honest, power armor or nude, it's
There's not a lot of stuff that's... Oh, I see. Some of the pistols.
Some of the pistols can, but they're very... I've got a feeling that Luger will do some AP.
Nope.
No?
No. You want a Smith & Wesson. Or a Webley.
Indeed.
With a Browning high power.
Wow.
That's what I've got.
Yeah, but it's not as good at armor piercing. Nonetheless, I don't have any of that. Armor is for pussies.
You and your newfangled industrial made guns.
What the hell was I doing then? You can make your own gun now.
I also carry a scimitar, just so we're clear.
Made guns. I have grenades.
Just
I hope you bought the throwing skill.
Don't critically fail.
Actually, no, that's true. I haven't done the throwing skill.
You're dead. She drops a grenade into the box of grenades and...
Well, here's the thing. The critical failure rule is not in this setting.
Oh,
Which means if you roll Snake Eyes on a roll, you can actually spend a penny to re-roll, which is not the case with the critical failure roll. As my players have been stunningly showing me yesterday. where
right
someone
handed.
decided to do a healing check, and I did tell them that if they rolled snake eyes on the healing check, they would actually cause someone an extra wound, and they then proceeded to roll snake eyes.
Is anyone else taking shooting skill?
I have shooting skill, yes.
Got a shooting
That's
skill,
just
okay.
as well as I've got a submachine gun with a high rate of fire.
Excellent. Well, I've got a rifle put in the plane.
I'd much rather cut you up with a scimitar.
You've got that as well, have you?
Yes.
What
Must be
submachine gun did you take?
The
Sorry?
Mauser.
The Mauser.
Mauser M32.
Oh,
Well, I've got the Springfield M1903 to put in the plane.
oh, it's got a rate of fire of 3.
Mm.
Bloody hell! Oh
Right,
God,
fire
that's gonna be
one.
fun.
Well, that's the Mauser. Wow. Yeah, that's quite good, isn't it?
Right, how that works, Becky,
Mhm.
is when you're firing, you will roll 3 shooting dice
Mhm.
plus your wild die, and you can replace one of your shooting die with your wild die.
Okay.
Okay, so essentially, and when you're, which is your 3 shots, which is a round of 3 shots, and you can decide who's getting what shot.
Okay.
So you can just go like that. And then however many hits, you'll then roll damage for each bullet.
Okay. When you absolutely, positively, definitely have to clear the room, I still prefer a scimitar.
Yeah.
Damage on scimitar then.
Sorry, damage on the scimitar is, for me, it's D10 plus D8.
Yeah, that's fairly vicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's more damage than one bullet.
Especially if it explodes as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Explodes. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah,
but
but
if it
the
aces,
Mauser's more likely to explode damage.
if it aces, it's going to be fairly vicious. I would not want to be on the end of that.
Oh,
Okay.
scimitars are...
So,
Well, they're often misunderstood. People think that they're one-handed weapons. They're actually not. They're two-handed.
that's because they see them in films being wielded one-handed quite a lot.
Yeah.
Especially in
But
like cavalry films.
They're a slash weapon.
Hmm.
They're, one hand is on the back of the blade.
Oh,
So
is it?
very close quarters. Yeah. And you use your strength to push the blade deep, basically. That's how they're traditionally used. It's only our concept of sword fighting in the West, where we didn't do that and we're all about reach, that it, we misunderstood what the scimitar's good for.
Yeah.
The scimitar's good for crowded places like, India, where the scimitar was invented. Actually, I'm not sure if it was India, but,
So, other than coming up with something interesting for your background, guys, your characters are done.
I'm thinking of being Sheila and I wrestle crocodiles.
Torso and yellow jacket. Arcane
So what
power.
then, babe, is the difference between a scimitar and a falchion?
No
Hang on a
idea.
minute.
What's that?
Falchion.
Oh, falchion. I thought it was falchion
Yeah.
that you pronounce it.
It's
Quite a lot.
Falchion's bigger, right?
The falchion's beautiful.
Yeah, but it's firstly a European
it's
weapon. It's single edged. It's basically an evolution of the Langsjaks from Viking times. It's basically a short sword, but single edged.
It's
Uh,
it's a good old cleaver. Get in there, whack.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
so
Falchion, blooming.
what's it?
They're very mean looking.
Okay.
Yes, they are quite different.
But
Range.
but yeah, it's that's your character's done, bar a bit of background.
That's looking pretty
For
good. I've
yourselves.
got decent that.
Character creation for Savage Worlds is very, very simple. The only thing now is bennies. The currency of the game. bennies or benefit points. They work similar. The one that immediately comes to mind is fate, for fate points. Bennies can be used to reroll strength, reroll trait and skill tests. You know. Am I going to allow the reroll damage? I am, actually. I'm going to allow a Benny for a reroll damage. Because you're meant to be heroes and being heroic and, you know, reroll damage. Because, you know, it's if you just don't think you've hurt them enough. But if you get a wound, if you are wounded, you can make what is called a soak roll. You have to do it immediately upon getting that wound or wounds. You spend a Benny and you make a vigor check. If you roll a 4, you get to soak up 1 wound. For every raise, which is 4 or more above, for every raise, you soak up another wound. You can only soak up wounds you have just received. You cannot soak up previous wounds. So if you're already wounded from a previous battle, it doesn't matter whether you roll enough raises that you could soak all of that damage. That wound that you got from a previous encounter would still be there. It's basically, you know, just a flesh wound. It didn't really hit you. It just glanced.
Okay.
It could have been fatal, but it wasn't. And the only main thing is you can become shaken, which is basically, you know, sort of knocked prone in a sense. There's 2 things you can do. You can, on your turn, you can make a spirit check, and if you succeed, then you are no longer shaken. You can act on that turn, but you'll be at -2 because it's considered a multi-action. Or, failing everything else, you can spend a Benny and you just immediately come off shaken.
Apparently, the scimitar most likely evolved from the Egyptian Khopesh, according to a quick Google search.
It was used a lot in that part of the world.
That would make sense, actually, when you see the Khopesh blade.
Yes, I'm just curious as to how the Khopesh was used now.
But that would make sense.
Okay, if I do that one.
So, yeah.
So, what have we got then? We've got a mad scientist. And
We've got a mad scientist. We've got his
very dangerous sidekick.
Dangerous sidekick, especially with the scimitar. And we've got the air ace who's going to be flying them all around.
So, Jason, you've gone sort of like big smarts, have you?
Oh, super big.
Right, okay.
Basically, my skills are driving, riding, hitting, shooting, and lock picking.
Okay.
Oh, I'm pretty good at stealth.
Yeah.
I've got like fighting and shooting, notice and investigation. I've gone aeronautics as well. And piloting, obviously.
I was going to say, we will not have that. That would be extremely funny if you had taken air ace and then not taken piloting.
Yeah.
That would have been fun.
Oh, I've got to come up with an enemy. One of my minor hindrance.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty low down the list. So, you know, being tracked by the fledgling FBI or, you know, federal agents or something isn't really going to cut it. I'd happily allow you to have some rival somebody you maybe beat to a promotion during your military service in World War One, something like that. Somebody who's really held a grudge,
Okay.
something like that.
I just thought of my quirk.
Go for it.
I'm a polytheist. So at night I have to pray to every major god before I can sleep.
That's
I like it.
I have all the beads and charms and what have you, because you can't really, his opinion is you can't really prove any of them, so you might as well pray to all of them.
I like
Here's
that.
a thought for you, Phil, with your enemy. I just looked up gangsters in the 1930s, and there was a guy called Jack Spot Comer who controlled London's East End bookmaking rackets until the 50s.
Okay.
Just a suggestion, you know, if you're in debt to a bookie, Jack Spot Comer.
Bookie. Could be.
Yeah,
Need to pay off debts.
yeah, something low-key
He's
like
an
that.
ugly fucker.
They usually were. I'm afraid Hollywood has given us this rather glamorized view of the 30s mobster, and quite frankly, most of them. I think the guy who did the drawings for Dick Tracy wasn't that fucking far off. To be honest, I think he was more right than people give him credit for.
So I'm going to have to come up with a good reason to get Jason's character to actually improve the range and maybe supercharge the airplane.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we are going to kick off in London.
Okay. Well, yeah, debt to a bookie sounds quite good, actually, doesn't it?
I just put a link to his image in
Okay.
the chat.
Wow.
Holy shit! He's definitely been slashed by something.
He has.
Although this was him when he was younger, which is probably closer to the 30s, but you might want to take the later image because I think that looks a bit more gangster.
Mm.
Yeah, he's definitely he's definitely trying to look like Al Capone at that
Yeah,
point.
he hasn't got the scar there, has he?
No,
That's,
but
that's a wax figure, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah,
Looks
can
like
you
a
tell?
wax figure. Well, like the ear just looks a little bit.
I think that's just because it was scanned in from a photograph after it had already started fading.
Yes, that's true. It just looks a bit plasticky.
Nice.
That's
It's a
quite a nasty
Polaroid.
cut, isn't it? You're
Oh,
not
he's-
the eye there.
That's a bit-
Actually, looking at it, because I've been slashed in the face and I know how it heals, so that is actually not long after it was done. So that must be later years.
Yeah.
It's got to be after the Polaroid was invented, I reckon, because I reckon that was a Polaroid. It's square and everything.
Well, it's cut his eyelid as well. He was flipping lucky there.
Mm.
But no, the black and white one definitely looks like he's trying to ape Capone.
Mm.
Well, they all fucking were at that point.
Uh,
Love him or loathe him, Capone was, you know,
Mm.
he's,
any sort of romanticized view of mobsters comes from the way Capone was at one point, you know, both simultaneously a ruthless, cold-hearted, murdering bastard and a charming socialite.
With Benny's, do we start with any specifically?
We start, you will all start with 3.
Or... And do they?
You will get 3 each session. Now, with regards to bennies, you can spend them if you do something. If you make an exceptional roll at a critical time, if you do an inspired piece of role playing, or if you come out with just a great idea at an interesting moment, even, you know, as long as it makes sense, even if it doesn't work out, I'll probably give a Benny back. And you could end up at the end of the session with more bennies than you started with, but you start with 3 each session.
You can also take some edges that will increase your bennies.
Yes, you can. Luck, and then great luck can give you more bennies.
But I tend to find that you just throw your bennies away trying to make a roll you really need to make.
Yes, which is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch because I've seen people down to 1 Benny and they're like, I really want to make that roll. I need to make that fucking roll. But if I spend that Benny now and if that guy shoots me, I've got nothing for a soak roll.
Yep.
And as you are a team of heroes, I will allow the shared bennies. So it's more a pool of 9 rather than 3, 3, and 3.
That could be handy.
Okay.
Which I have tended to favour, mostly because I have seen, I have 7 players in my sci-fi game, and we were doing the sort of alternate, which is the you just keep your bennies from one session to the next, and we'd gotten to the point where there was 1 character left with a benny. Everyone else had spent theirs, and it was just getting silly. So I've just went back to 3 bennies a session.
Oh, I like the picture, Jason.
Oh,
That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's him.
I
You're
like
working in a
that.
So what do you cover any particular field of science or
Yes. So yeah, my main skill is just science, but he particularly enjoys botanical stuff and sort of manipulating plants and things like that. But also he knows quite a lot about animals as well. So but basically he's into biochemistry. He loves manipulating life as it is into weird and wonderful, horrible things.
Right.
For the glory of science.
making grenades in his spare time?
I will probably say some stuff to the players after this broadcast has ended, but I'm going to stop this broadcast here now that the characters have been done, and we will start with session 1, if not next week, then the week after. So from everyone here, thanks everyone for watching, and bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.